Hey everybody, how you doing? I hope you're well on this great Thursday. Summit Bank Oakland is secure in the midst of the bank crash of 2023. That's what I'm here to tell you. The bank crash of 23 has gotten you and me worried. Yeah. So if your bank is Summit Bank Oakland, I'll explain why you don't have to worry. That's what I'm here to tell you. The bank crash of 23 has gotten you and me worried. Yeah. So if your bank is Summit Bank Oakland, I'll explain why you don't have to worry. That's what I'm here to tell you. The bank crash of 23 has gotten you and me worried. Yeah. So if your bank is Summit Bank Oakland, I'll explain why you don't have to worry. That's what I'm here to tell you. The bank crash of 23 has gotten you and me worried. Yeah. So if your bank is Summit Bank Oakland, I'll explain why you don't have to worry. That's what I'm here to tell you. You get the idea. Okay. Trying a little humor there. Anyway, with all seriousness, what's going on is quite simply that I'm writing this as one who started his first tech startup, that was Sports Business Simulations, with the help of Summit Bank, which is located at 2919 Broadway in Oakland here. And Sports Business Simulations made online simulations of sports organizations for use in the classroom. And it lasted from 2003 to 2010, and all with Summit Bank. The reason SBS became dormant was a disagreement between myself and Forio Business Simulations, which developed the FML programming language that I learned in order to build the Oakland baseball Simworld and the XFL Simworld. But I learned a big lesson. Never build a web game based on a programming language no one's ever heard of. Okay. Otherwise, you get trapped into using the server owned by that organization, in that case, Forio, right? Anyway, and again, Summit Bank stuck with Sports Business Simulations through thick and thin. Now, some 13 years later, we find a series of events has caused what I will call the bank crash of 2023. Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and Silvergate Bank, excuse me, and I'm missing out others that have been reported I haven't read about yet, have all been taken by federal regulators. So if you're thinking that all of what they're dealing with should automatically apply to Summit Bank, the answer is no. The simple reason is that Summit Bank's mix of places it puts its money is vastly different than for those big banks. Summit's considered a community bank. Most of its money isn't tied up in bonds. Also, Summit Bank does not automatically allow you to transfer cryptocurrency. And I know this, being a holder of a number of cryptocurrencies and one of the first on the Coinbase platform, started by my friend Brian Armstrong. And he was pitching in part to me when I met him in 2013 while a mutual friend of ours was holding a fundraiser for Oakland mayoral candidate at that point, Brian Parker. But I digress. All right. Anyway, the point is here that Summit Bank does not automatically allow you to get in that kind of transaction. And so it has avoided the drawdowns that have hurt other banks during this crisis. Summit Bank is also not to be confused, I might add, with Summit National Bank. Summit Bank is an Oakland community bank. The bottom line, your money is safe at Summit Bank. Stick with Summit Bank. And also, I made this blog on my own without contact from Summit Bank, anyone connected with Summit Bank at all. I simply saw what was going on around the country, and I thought, frankly speaking, I'd give my friends at Summit Bank a hand because they have been just that to me over the years. Nor was Zenny62 Media paid to do this. In fact, Zenny62 Media, we don't bank at Bank of America. Bank of America. We do bank at Bank of America. We don't bank at Summit Bank right now. And that's simply because of geographic location issues and other technical issues that I've had to deal with. And so I believe I made the right call there. But it was not having anything to do with any issue. There's no issue with Summit Bank at all. I want to make that absolutely clear. And Finally, Zenny 60 Media was not paid to do this. Although, hey, I wouldn't have shied away from it. If they called and said, hey, Zenny, can you pay you to go on a speaking tour on our behalf? I would say, yeah, sure. I love you guys, but I love them anyway, regardless of the money. So, hey, but I run a for-profit media startup, so it's fair for anybody to think, hey, did Zenny? No, I didn't. But back to the main point, folks. Look at how your banks use their money more carefully and ask what you like about that bank. And Summit Bank can be described in one word: conservative. Now, I don't mean the couch potato conservative stuff that tends to dominate the media airwaves today. I'm talking about conservative in action, conservative in movement. They consider something very carefully and ask, is this appropriate for our mission, which is protecting the interests of our customers and their investments and their holdings? And if you take a look at Summit, they've stood a pretty good track record there for several decades now. All right. So that's it. That's what I wanted to tell you guys. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnowblog.com. And bookmark Zenny62.com too. And we'll see you later. That is this broadcast.